So Danny, this is sort of a new feature we're going to do, talking about the club. Can you explain a bit more why you're doing this with answering fans' questions?
Yeah, I think that the fans of the club are the lifeblood. They're going to be the people that are going to be behind any success that we have. But supporters and fans of clubs have also got the power to make things uncomfortable and awkward, and I think that's why you've got to embrace them. And I've noticed a lot on social media, and people have brought stuff to my attention where we're talking about some criticisms we've come into on various outlets, and I don't want the fans to feel like they haven't got a connection with the team and most importantly the club. So we thought this would be a good idea to give them an insight, and also some of the things that have been brought up on social media we want to bring to light, and we want to give our explanation. And I'm not saying that they're going to agree with it, but at least they can hopefully see where we're coming from, and that everything we're trying to do at the moment is trying to push the club in a direction and build something long term.
Yeah, and talking about recently, there's been a lot of staff changes or staff leaving. Can you shed some light onto those situations and what you see?
Well, we had obviously Russ' last day was Saturday. Lisa, who's been a long-standing member of the sort of Aldershot community as it is as a club, and then with Ian and Steve going, and it's a difficult one for us because obviously as a new manager you want as many people around you as possible who've got their kind of attitudes and support towards the club, but unfortunately things happen. And from Russ's perspective, he's been here for 14 years. He's been an unbelievable servant to the club, and he's got a young family, and an opportunity's come up to go and manage a clinic in London that, from a financial perspective and from a family perspective, is one that he couldn't turn down. And he goes with our very, very best wishes, and he knows the door's always open for him to return if he ever wanted to come back. And pretty much the same with Steve, Ian and Lisa as well. I mean, Lisa's family's been at the club for a very, very long time, and we were gutted when we found out that she was going, because she brought a vibe to the manager's office and changing room area with a great sense of humour. But again, she's done it a long time, and she's got some family responsibilities that she wants to commit some time to, and I believe with her work and everything she doesn't get that much time to herself. And then obviously with the kitman, Ian and Steve, Ian we're still in talks with, because we still think there's something we can do with Ian going forwards, and Steve, the door's always open for Steve, but he had a fantastic opportunity to go to Chelsea, so I can see how it might look from the outside that Danny Searle's come in and everyone wants to walk out the door, and don't get me wrong, it felt like that at times, but we've got great relationships with those guys, and we want to create a family environment where the doors are never shut, and I hope that those 4 members of staff feel that.
Yeah, and we're moving to the team now. Substitutions, something that the fans are talking about quite a lot. What are your thoughts on that, and how you're setting up the team now?
Yeah, I mean, I hold my hands up. The Chesterfield game, we should have made a substitution earlier than we did, and we paid the price for that. But then that's kind of, we take full responsibility for that. That's no one else's fault. I'm the manager. That's my responsibility. So, but the game on Saturday, I said it was quite ironic, because I said to the bench literally as the ball was going up, be ready for the backlash, because you'll see how negative it looks taking off a centre forward, bringing on a defensive central midfielder. But we believed that Jacob, Ethan and Alefi were going to be our way back into the game in the sense of getting goals, and to relinquish some of their defensive responsibilities to get them closer to Mo and get them in and around the opposition penalty area. We needed to put something in place to allow that to happen, and because we want to play 2 up front. We took on board some of the comments of the fans, and they want to see 2 up front at home, and we think it's something we can do home and away, and we do listen. It's not that we don't listen, we have looked at it, but it takes time to get your philosophy in place, and that was the reasoning behind the substitution on Saturday. And it was a hard one, because the reaction after the game was quite a negative one from most parties, including myself. It's the longest I've kept the players in the dressing room after a game, because it was just disappointment. Because we had such a big crowd, and the romance of the day, non-league day, and Russ leaving and whatnot, but also because we want to win football matches, and we want to win at home, and we want to win for the fans, and so it was frustrating. But when you actually look back at the game, which I watched it back yesterday, and I've watched it back today, we were good. First 20-25 minutes, I mean, wow, we could have scored 5. and it is an issue we've got at the moment with putting the ball in the back of the net, and it's something we're trying to address. But I think that chances wise, we actually created more chances on Saturday than we did against Dover. Difference was against Dover we were very clinical, and Saturday we weren't, and all 3 of their goals come from counter-attacks. The first one for me was a stonewall penalty for us. I've seen it from 3 different angles now, and I've not changed my mind at all. And they actually score from that. And a bit of naivety from our players. They're still appealing for the penalty when they should have been getting back into shape. But that's unfortunately the price you pay sometimes. But we created some good chances. The Hartlepool keeper got in the team of the week for the National League. And I think that shows when a keeper gets in the team in the National League, it shows he's had a very, very good game, and he did. And frustratingly so, because I know Ben very well, but it was one of those situations, unfortunately, that they showed us how to finish. And if we'd have been as clinical as they were, we'd have probably won the game quite comfortably.
Yeah. And there is a perception by some people that the club is sort of in a bubble. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I'm big on putting a bubble around a club and encompassing every facet of it, whether it's the fans, the staff, the community, the foundation, the players, the board, whoever it is. I think you have to put a bubble around it, and it's important because that protects you from stuff going on the outside of the club. What we've got to make sure is that bubble's not being burst from the inside, and we've got everyone on board trying to get behind what we're trying to do. And the board at this club are excellent, and I know that they get the criticism sometimes because we don't spend millions and millions of pounds on players, but what they do is they do a really good job from a business perspective, making sure that every week when these fans turn up, the doors are open. And there's a lot of fans that would give their right hand for that in a minute in the league, because they can't do that in a minute, and we have to embrace that and almost be proud of that, because you've got a group of people that are trying to run this club in the right way. They're trying to clear any debt that's left over and put us into a position where we're going forwards. And I was fortunate enough to be able to present to them last week on what we could do going forwards from a vision perspective, and I think that'll be a watch this space for this one, because there were some really positive talks that come out of that, and that was led by the board, and I can't thank them enough, because I get so much support and they've never ever told me no. They might have told me not yet, wait when I'm asking for my ridiculous amount of requests that I do. But generally, it's been brilliant for me, and I'm so positive and optimistic about the fact that if you can't see the progress the players are making, we take on the chin with the goals. We need to be better in front of goal. But some of the football we're playing at the minute, and we're creating so many chances, and one of the things that was labelled at the team for last year, we don't create any chances and it's all tippy-tappy. Well, we're hopefully bringing a brand of entertainment to the game, and I watched the highlights back, and you just look at it and think, wow, I don't think anyone could have argued if we'd have scored 7 on Saturday. 7-4 would have probably been a fair result, actually, to be fair. But it is what it is. That's football, and we've got to brush ourselves off. And the lads have been in this week so far, and it's been excellent. So we move on.
Yeah, and just finally, sort of maybe possibly reinforcing what's going on behind the scenes. What is that vision that you've spoken about?
Well, I don't want to jump the gun and start telling everyone what it's about, because we'd want to do it for the fans properly. We want to put something together for the fans that they can attend and actually get behind it. We want something that everyone can get behind, and that's being driven by the board. They've got a long-term plan for the club, and I think what we've got to be careful of sometimes is you can't give away everything, because you don't want to hang yourself out to dry, because there might be some things that might be a little bit unrealistic in a minute. But we do want that embraced kind of, it's a we mentality. It's not there's the first team, there's the community, there's the board, there's the fans. We don't want that. We want to create a we. So when everyone's around this environment, if they're saying something negative about the club, we want to get to a stage where they're almost saying negative stuff about themselves, because it's a we. We're all in it together, and I think when you look back through history, when clubs have built success, especially on a proper foundation, everyone's kind of singing from the same hymn sheet, and when it comes to outside influences coming in and trying to be negative about our club, we all stand together. And you know what? Is it perfect? No, it's not. Are we going to win every week? No, we're not. Are we going to have weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks where we might not get a point? Yeah, there's a possibility of that. Could there be 3 weeks where we win 3 in a row? Yeah, I believe that too. That's where we are at the moment, and I had a great conversation with some fans in the bar after the game. They sat around a table and they were so disappointed because we had 2,700 fans here for non-league day, and we didn't win. And I kind of said, well, firstly, if every time we put an event on we won, I'd put an event on for every home game, because that'd be lovely. But we didn't not win because we didn't try. And what would be nice was those people to be here every week to support us, regardless of what. And if you look at the big clubs, their stadiums are full, win, lose or draw. They might leave early and saying a few choice words to the players and whatnot, but they're back every week and they support their club. And we've got a real core of good support of this club, and we want to grow that. And people are singing off the same hymn sheet and hopefully seeing what we're trying to do on the pitch. And when it's bad, we'll hold our hands up and we'll say, listen, it wasn't good enough today. But we do work hard to try and put that right.